What's going on, YouTube? Good to be back in another video. I am back. Yesterday I uploaded a video and I didn't have enough space on my phone to complete the video, so here I am again with part 2, the state of subliminals. It's an exciting topic for me, because I spent a lot of time since 2015, or I'm sorry, 2014, just researching all the stuff that subliminals can do and all the technology that goes into it. But before I go into that real quick, I'm just going to make this quick shout out. If you like my videos, if you like to support my channel, I really appreciate everybody that gives a like and a comment and a subscription to my channel. It makes me feel so much better and allows me to continue doing what I like to do, and that is to create. If you want to make a quick couple bucks, I have a couple links down below. But enough about that, let's get into the video. What you want to hear about? Subliminals, right? So we're talking about subliminals, and basically yesterday I was saying, I was explaining a little bit about resistance, and I was explaining a little bit about how the subconscious works. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because I feel like I didn't have enough time to really dive into it, and plus I'm so ADHD that I'm all over the place at all times during the day, and all times during the video. Okay, so when it comes to resistance, right, I was talking yesterday about how if something isn't very believable to the conscious mind or the subconscious will really just reject that notion, will reject that idea, and will put up a fight, and it'll be harder for the subconscious mind to actually execute the script, and it'll be harder to achieve the results that the script is aimed at making you achieve. So if we think back to Generation 2, Generation 3 Subliminals by Subliminal Shop, and let's be honest, nobody really uses those 3rd gen or 3G and 4G subliminals because there's some crazy technology out there now, and the technology that Shannon has put out these days is so far advanced that it just casts a complete shadow over 3G and 4G subliminals. So it's really not even worth running because you only have 24 hours in a day, and if you only have 24 hours in a day, you have a very finite amount of time in this life that you can reprogram your subconscious. So if you can reprogram your subconscious at 5.5G speeds, which let's just say for all intents and purposes is 100 miles per hour, why in your right mind would you choose to go 30 or 40 miles per hour, as is the case with maybe 4G, or even older than that, 10, 15 miles per hour in 3G, and even less on YouTube subliminals and other subliminals that you make yourself. And let me be clear, I'm not necessarily stating that Shannon's is the best subliminals out there. He makes some amazing products, but there's other products by Subliminal Club that are very well worth checking out, and they're made in a completely different way too. But right now I just want to talk a little bit about Shannon's technology, right? And I was mentioning yesterday how when you look at the statements that he writes in his forum, you can tell that he takes his time on he knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. The reason I say that is because the syntax, the grammar that he uses to just talk, he communicate with his people, is pretty far advanced. So that tells me, logically, in my mind, that the amount of work that he puts into a single sentence, and he's even made this publicly, he's stated this publicly on his forum multiple times, that if we were to see a single statement of that is in one of his subliminals, we won't even be able to understand it because it's just so far. It's so crazy and intellectually, syntactically, or grammatically precise that our conscious mind, it's just like noise to our conscious mind. With so many commas and so many modifiers and so many this, that, and the other, basically, my videos are basically like one of those, one long sentence. I just realized that I talk so fast and I talk so much and I try to pack so much information into as little time as I can. I'm at 4 minutes right now and I feel like I talk for 20. I digress. So when it comes to making subliminals that the subconscious mind can actually understand, remember, we're talking about computer programs. We're talking about the subconscious is a computer that executes script, and the script is basically the computer. The script is the computer program. Subconscious is the computer. The script embeds the programming into your subconscious, and your subconscious then needs to execute it. So the subconscious has to understand it in exactly the right way so that it can begin executing those commands. If you think about it in this way, let's just say you throw a bunch of noise at the computer or the subconscious. If you throw a bunch of noise at it that doesn't mean anything, the subconscious can't do anything with it. There's nothing to execute because it doesn't know what to make of that statement. So what exactly are we talking about here? When Shannon makes his subliminals, and this is basically all I've gathered from his forum, right? He makes his subliminals. It's not just the statements that go into it. And having conversations with the makers of Subclub, I've actually discovered and been great. I'm grateful to even know the knowledge, like how much it actually takes to make a subliminal. It's not all about the script. I mean, yeah, the script has like a 60-70% stake in how powerful the subliminal is. But there's also encoding. You have to know how to encode the subliminal. You have to know how to do first pass, second pass, and like there's so many other technical terms that go into making a subliminal that it just goes above my head. But there's like little tweaks and little bells and whistles that Shannon has actually put on his subliminals to make it so that our subconscious can understand it a lot easier, right? Not gonna lie, I kind of lost my train of thought because the song that just started playing is one of my favorite songs of all time, which is a Super Mario World song, the overworld theme. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Let's kind of go into a little bit more details on how the subliminals start to actually work in the subconscious. So remember, I told you that the subliminals, the messages themselves are script, and the subconscious has to execute them. So how exactly does the subconscious execute them? Well, we need to give a certain amount of input, which is actually physically and tangibly listening to the subliminal audio program. And as you're listening to the subliminal audio program, you are receiving input, like I just said. And that input, it basically is in input mode, is storage mode, it's acquiring data. Now, when you stop listening to it, that's when you go into execution mode. So there's a very important time period between input and execution. Like input is when you're listening to it and you have to actually stop listening to it so your subconscious can start executing the script. In the case with much more advanced subliminals like the 5G and 5.5G, the amount of time that you need to listen to it is actually a lot less than the ones in the past. If I recall correctly, a lot of people, as standard, listen to 4G subliminals for 12 hours a day. However, with 5G subliminals, people are able to listen to it a lot less and still get tangible and real results. For me, the first time I ever did AM6 and SM3, I was on the Catman bandwagon because I saw he was doing, like 20 hours a day on AM6, and I was like, man, he's really killing it. Let me try that too. So that was my first run, right? The second run, I went a little bit more conservatively. I just did it when I slept, and I made it a point to not really play the subliminal, not go out of my way to play the subliminal. I just hit that play button before I went to sleep, woke up, and turned it off. So, I mean, if I even had to turn it off because it was connected to my laptop. So, the amount of time that even now in 5.5G is insanely small. Like, when it comes to ultra monetary success or ultimate UMS, which is the ultimate monetary success or ultra monetary success, I forgot which one is a name. Like, I listen to it for 3 loops, right? This is completely new terminology in the world of subliminals, because back then we would say, let's listen to it for 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, but now we're talking about listening to it in loops, which actually means how many iterations the track plays. So listening to this for 3 loops is like 3 hours. That's insanely small. And when it comes to DMSI, develop maximum sexual irresistibility, I believe it was 3.1, where I listened to only 1 loop a day. And I think I did that with 3.01 too. I'm not sure. Or it was 3.2. I'm not sure. I haven't actually listened to the last couple versions, so it's been a while since I've even touched that subliminal, so I can't really recall exactly. But man, just think about it. 1 loop a day. And then sometimes I would even take a 24-hour break. So, for instance, today is day 1. I would listen to it in the morning at 9 a.m. or whatever. Let's say it finishes at 10:30. Then I would skip tomorrow morning, and I would listen to it at night, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So there's 36 hours that I would put in between, which means there's, an hour and a half to 2 hours of input and 36 hours of execution. I found that helped a lot with the newer subliminals, because the mind really needs that time to start executing, because let's face it, Shannon even mentioned it himself, there's like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of words in a single statement, in a single track. So just think about like how much information your brain really has to process. And you only have so many hours in the day, so if you keep bombarding your brain with content over and over and over again, it's not going to have time to really decode and deconstruct and execute the script, which actually does a disservice, because we want our mind to be fresh, we want our mind to be clear and able to start executing the subliminals, not spend so much time like trying to figure out this mumbo jumbo in your head. But anyway, that's my experience, and that's not necessarily how Shannon recommends it. It's just something that's worked for me. And even with UMS, Ultra Monetary Success, or Ultimate Monetary Success, I don't necessarily do it the same way that everybody else recommends. I think he mentions 5 days on and 3 days off and 2 days off, something like that. For me, I found it very useful. I found it very useful to play it at work with my entire sales team, because I manage a sales team. I manage a team of 40 people, but 5 of them are salespeople, and we're all in a close proximity in an office. So during the day, at around 2 o'clock, when everybody's back from lunch, I hit that play button and it plays until 5 o'clock. Granted, some of the rules that is required on the new 5.5G subliminals have been broken. Like, there is something, and I forgot the name of it, but you're not supposed to interrupt the subliminal at any cost, because it actually interrupts the... Let me see if I can remember the name of it. I'm gonna pause this. Nah, for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called, but basically, if you interrupt the track, it's going to ruin the spacing in between listenings that your brain requires, because Shannon has programmed the audio to have exactly the amount of silence that it needs based on his extensive research and data and metrics that he has discovered to be the best possible time of silence between track 1, like the iteration 1 and iteration 2. For instance, there's 5 seconds of silence in between those two, and if you do any more or any less than those 5 seconds between those two tracks, you have ruined that, I don't think it's state shifting, but you've ruined that aspect of the subliminal. And you're still going to get results, but it's not going to be as good as if you had listened to it non-stop, continuously, without interruptions at all. So, even though I listen to it at work, and even though my team has these interruptions, because they're obviously going to get up and go to the bathroom, or they're going to get up and go talk to somebody else to go do something, or something work related, that's just going to happen. But I've been playing it on weekdays because it works. Like Monday through Friday, play it during the day from 2 to 5 p.m. and then Saturday and Sunday off, because we're not going to see each other. So that really happens to work really well for the UMS, because November is historically our slowest month. Right, in sales, November is the slowest month in sales, and it gets to the point where, and let me just say this, like September is so busy, and October is almost as busy, that we always end up hiring people for September and October, so that we can help have extra hands in the manufacturing, so that we can actually like start producing and get these orders out to clients in a timely fashion. But November comes around, and we got way more mouths to feed than we can handle. So November's really been historically tough, but now, at this point, and I think this is partly due to the subliminal, November has not been a horrible month. In fact, it's going to be on par with some of our other average months, which is insane. Because if you think about it, that's some crazy, like it defies history. You know, if you look at a chart, if you look at metrics and you look at data and you try to analyze the data, the projection based on previous data and history would absolutely tell you that November was going to suck and our sales are going to suck. But so far, we're on track to be an average month, which, and I can't say for 100% fact that it's all due to the subliminal, because it's not. I mean, we're all putting blood, sweat, and tears into this company. We're trying to build something together as a team, and it takes that amount of effort. But I have to say, it's too coincidental, and it's too like eerie or creepy for it to really be mere coincidence. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it's all hard work and effort, because there's something else at play here. How else are we going to do something that, like, historically is supposed to be a bad month, but we somehow squashed that history. We squashed the projection based on data that we've had before. The predictions were wrong because some other influence. Maybe we're all working harder, but it's just much easier to comprehend the fact that listening to the subliminal, or the whole sales team listening to the subliminal, might have helped. But alright guys, that's about it from me. I think I've talked way more than my fair share. My voice is actually starting to get kind of tired and I'm feeling like I'm ready to go to sleep. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any comments or any feedback on Subliminals or Subliminal Shop, please let me know, and please mention it in the comment section below, because I answer everything. I try to answer it as much as I can on a daily basis. And stay tuned for next time, because next time I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review type deal, like the conversation that I just had about Subliminal Shop. Part 3 is going to be about Subliminal Club and how they came to be into existence, and the moves that they're making in the subliminal sphere. So, okay guys, take care. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys.